Back in the year 1998, many things were occurring in the entertainment world. The music industry was thriving, the movie industry was thriving. Not so much for a film like Dark City, the follow-up to The Crow, where you would have Alex Proyas's follow-up to that film promptly smashed with a baseball bat to the point that it would have no choice but to sleep now. But on the bigger movie front, we had Deep Impact and Armageddon coming out within weeks of each other, which was continuing a trend of similar themed movies coming out within weeks of each other. Dante's Peak, Volcano. We also would just have Mission to Mars and Red Planet. Man, studios just love to compete. Speaking of competition, we have the Monday Night Wars going on the WWE/WWF side. Stone Cold Steve Austin and so many others were competing to see if they could take down billionaire Ted in his wrestling war room and his big old roster, including Bill Goldberg, who would actually win the WCW Championship in the Georgia Dome, and it was a massive, massive deal. And speaking of Georgia, a Georgia native by the name of Alan Jones would start his professional wrestling career. And on the independents, into the dying days of WCW, a WWF developmental contract that didn't go anywhere because he didn't want to uproot his lives, the lives of his family, the lives of his wife, little wife lies, whatever you want to go with. He decided to go to TNA. You are, and I am, his evil ways. AJ Styles was known as being truly one of the best at that point. He could do flip-de-doo-dah, flip-de-dee-day, and he could wrestle and out-wrestle anyone all day. And then he would leave TNA. He would go to New Japan. He would compete in Ring of Honor. He would just compete any old place until, at the 2016 Rumble, he shockingly showed up in WWE. And for 10 years, even with certain injuries and certain bad creative, the phenomenal AJ Styles truly showed why professional wrestling was the house that AJ Styles built. Is AJ Styles truly one of the best of all time? That can be argued in the comments. Is he one of the best of the last 20 or so years? Yeah, I would definitely say so. And now his career has come to basically a close. And he is going to go into the WWE Hall of Fame along with Stephanie McMahon. Congratulations, AJ. Congratulations. I'm John Renton with my review WWE Raw from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, I bet you're shocked I reviewed this. You know why? There was no mystery movie. I was bored, and I figured AJ's retirement, that's worth something. Don't get used to it, though. Don't pull up no chairs. I ain't going to take very long. And no, I'm not going to make it a regular thing of reviewing Raw. I haven't reviewed Raw since, I think the last time was about 6 weeks ago. And honestly, guys, I'm not going to do Elimination Chamber. Maybe I'll do WrestleMania. Maybe I'll do SummerSlam. But I'm winding down the amount of stuff that I'm going to be reviewing. Anyway, Cole and Graves are in the ring to talk about the fact that AJ Styles is going to be retiring tonight. Big old celebration. Gunther interrupts. He finds it disgraceful because AJ's a loser. He retired Bill Goldberg, John Cena, AJ Styles. He's got this career killer gimmick. And then Pierce shows up because he's had it. He says, "You're out of here." Gunther says, "I'll go, but of my own accord." Do they still make Accords? Does Honda still make Accords? Anyway, he goes to leave. Dragon Lee attacks him because Dragon Lee and AJ were teaming up because that was a team that we certainly needed to see on programming for a while. But yeah, Gunther is pissed. And okay, there we go. Cody then shows up and talks to, or basically just stares down Gunther. I wouldn't mind seeing Gunther and Cody again, but Gunther would have to go over. Anyway, a big pop for Cody. And then the Vision interrupts Cody. That is, here comes Bronson, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory, along with Heyman. Because Seth suffered an injury, and he's been out for a while, even though I think he's coming back. Steiner has a hernia, where even if he can come back in a few weeks, even if it's not that bad, I don't think he's going to come back in time for WrestleMania. It's unfortunate. I mean, it's unfortunate that injuries happen in general, even though it's a contact line of entertainment and theater and sport, but still. Yeah, basically, Austin Theory has all the charisma of a wet blanket. Logan is a fool. It's easy to hate him. He's a fucking douchebag, so I'll give him that much credit. And here's Jay, and then we go to break. And it's Here Comes Bronson, Jey Uso, and El Gable Grande Americano. This Americano thing was stupid to begin with. It is stupid now. The fact that this is going with Gable and Kaiser under mask when they're so uber talented. And we have Dunn and Bate doing this shit. No. The match was what it was. It was another three-way. He didn't get all of that diving headbutt, did he? And Reed did get hit with a German. And Reed tore his bicep trying to do a save. He breaks up a pin and immediately is holding this and everything. And I'm not sure exactly how he tore it. Maybe he planted wrong. I don't know. This is the second straight WrestleMania that he's going to miss due to injury. That is unfortunate. Who the hell won? Jey Uso won with a splash. I didn't really care. I don't. I mean, why am I supposed to care? And Jey Uso ain't going to win the chamber. God forbid if he wins the chamber and they go with him. Jesus Christ. Him against Drew? Whatever. It is what it is. He got his moment. Let's give it to somebody that, I don't know, can work. So anyway, we get Styles' Rumble debut. The alternate shots, because Kevin Dunn had to ruin that original debut. Tyler Reddick apparently is somebody that won a NASCAR race of some kind. It wasn't a Daytona 500. He hadn't hit the wall like somebody. But, yeah, Punk got driven to the arena. And Liv is out there in some very tiny shorts and stop thinking about it, Kevin Dunn. So stop thinking about it. You know you're thinking about it. Get some help, Kier. Sorry you're buried under so much snow. I have seen women take that amount of inches, though, and not even flinch. So don't worry, Kier. You'll be perfectly fine. Stop thinking about it. In all seriousness, Kier's a great guy. Hope you can stay warm. And just make sure that if you hear any of your neighbors taking all those inches, just plug your ears. Because some women are screamers. I don't speak from experience. Stop thinking about it. Anyway, so Liv comes out in her very tiny shorts. If her any shorter, they'd be a belt, to make her decision about who she'll face, either Jade or Stephanie Vaquer. And they show recaps of Stephanie basically berating Liv last week, that she's had access to the best trainers, all this stuff for 10 years. That even whether she has worked hard or not, she's had every advantage. Stephanie has had to go through blood, sweat, shed her blood, her sweat, and her tears. I need her to berate me in Spanish. God, do I ever. Shut up, I don't have an issue. And here's Dom and Liv. So they're out there. Stephanie, my God. Here's Jade. Jade's just out there to stand there because Jade was not going to be chosen. If they hadn't done the Stephanie and Liv thing, that would have been fine. Liv, by the way, does tell Stephanie, you were right because I have it at every event, this kind of stuff. And this crowd, I'm going to say right now, I'm sorry if you were in the crowd. I don't know if it's because you're down on the product, and I don't blame you. But good grief, this crowd was rotten. Besides maybe the reactions to Punk and the reactions to AJ, this crowd was dog shit. Jesus Christ. But anyway, the crowd booed heavily. They didn't want to hear Liv. Even though Liv had points and Stephanie had points, they wanted Liv to be the conniving, pseudo-tweener that she's been because she's too likable not to... she's too likable to fully boo her now because she's gotten over so good as a heel. But she, feigns going to Jade and then attacks Stephanie, who... timbers like JYD in 1984. I will let you decide if that's a compliment. And there you go. So that match, I'm actually excited for that match. I might order WrestleMania or get, ESPN just for that weekend, just to watch that stuff. And then Byron is basically with Javon Evans. He's in the chamber, or he wants to, he's ready for the chamber. And you know what? Javon's going to do some impressive stuff. Here's somebody named Offset in the New Day. Xavier got injured recently, apparently. I didn't know that because I saw him in a sling. And Waller is with them. Anyway, Styles beat Jinder. Remember when he beat him in the UK and Jinder had that title reign that was absolute dog shit? Yeah, I do. I remember that. It was horrible. So, Mia Yim, the Gorillas of Destiny. I know it's Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, but still... And the Good Brothers, home of the Good Brothers, maybe we get a booking. Remember all the shit that Carl Anderson said about Hunter and all the stuff and everything, that they suck, but now they're willing to take a paycheck just to show back up? Yeah. So, then Natty took on Maxine Dupree. They've been building this up. Natty has this new persona that's more blood sport inspired because she's been doing indie bookings. And it fits her because they're not going to let her go full bore blood sport, but they're going to let her at least be a little more intimidating. People say Maxine's gotten better. Sure, she couldn't have gotten any worse. So the crowd is having none of this. Maxine then did a post spot where she then sold like she was Jack Atkinson Jr. lying there after touching a trailer hitch. And oh my God, maybe she's not channeling that. She's channeling Mike Von Erich. Okay, maybe not that. She's channeling Chris. No, she's not channeling Chris. She's channeling Gino Hernandez on the floor of his goddamn apartment. She's channeling Carrie after hitting the park police car. She's channeling someone's brother. I used to have 5 brothers and now I'm not even a brother. Yeah, I could have gone with the cheaper one, but no, I'm not going to do that. I'll just make fun of people that were actually involved in wrestling. So, there you are. It is terrible. I did see some stuff, some mean-spirited comments. I'm not talking comments to me, because my mentions are full of cool people. But I did see some people that were commenting on the stuff like, Maxine laying down and everything. And there were people making comments about her particular brother and mean-spirited stuff that I would never even think of saying. I say that as I made constant jokes about the Von Erichs. But it is what it is. Maxine basically was knocked out, and she just laid there, and Natty fisted her, and Natty won in a minute. That was certainly usage, and that was certainly usage of talent that we could have, whatever. Okay, it's fine. So, best wishes to Roxanne. Apparently, she had a benign mass removed from her back that was very painful. Judgment Day shenanigans. And, yeah, Balor and Dom are fighting, I guess. Zuffa boxing. Zuffa sounds like something that you would get, like, from a European bathhouse or whatever. Let's just take the Zuffa. I'll let you decide where you put that thing. Who are these rappers? I don't know who these rappers are. I think I know who 2 Chainz is. I think that was it. Obafemi package. Have him just show up and talk to and confront Lesnar. At least I was hoping they would. But then Rusev wants to talk to Pierce because the box is there. I know what's in the box. What's in the box is likely Danhausen, and nobody's going to... People will pop, much like a boil. And anyway, so Rusev and Oba, it would be nice if they had that Elimination Chamber. They will probably have it on Raw. And Bork appears. Now, by the way, him and Heyman did their usual shtick. I don't care. Open challenge, blah, blah. Brock's not going to appear again until March 16th, and then he will appear from there to the 30th, and then from the 6th to the 13th. So pretty much through to Mania, and then he's probably going to be gone again. So no answer for the open challenge, but they were chanting Oba. So they wanted to be Oba. I wouldn't mind if Gunther retired Lesnar, but you know what? Oba beating Lesnar, I'm all for that. And Oba needs to beat Lesnar. You can't just bring somebody in and have them lose their first WrestleMania and then expect it to go better. Because remember, they did that to Ryback. Granted, Ryback was wrestling in WWE system a lot longer, and Oba is much better. But that didn't necessarily help him. So yeah, hopefully Oba will take on Lesnar at WrestleMania. Becky pre-taped. She lists her accomplishments, how AJ Lee can't touch her. And a good pre-tape promo. Royce Keys is on Stephanie's podcast, because philanthropy is future of marketing. It's the way brands are going to win. You know, the one that compared the 9/11 attacks to what her family went through at the steroid trial. No, I'm not going to forget that, because Stephanie's just as fake and as phony and as probably as evil as her dad. Javon Evans with Offset took on Kofi. Finally, something I could sort of get into. Javon is going to hurt himself if he's not careful. Now, I was worried he jammed his knee a little bit later. I think he's all right. Even though he was limping a little bit, I think he's all right. He had a freaking spring kick just jumping off the bottom rope. The kid's amazing. And Kofi still can move so well despite being about 2 decades in his career. So, yeah, I was worried he busted his ankle. He didn't. We get a flip kick. Waller then ends up hitting Javon while the referee's not looking. Just a 2 count. Offset, tosses Waller over the announcer's table. By the way, Michael Cole said he just offset the entire complexion of this match. I want Michael Cole tarred and feathered for his commentary. I really want Michael Cole absolutely destroyed for his atrocious commentary. He may not have Vince screaming in his ear anymore, but he's terrible. He fucking sucks and he always has. Anyway, big old cutter for 3. Worried he was going to overshoot it, but man, that kid's got hops. So, Frankie Kazarian's there, and Abyss. So, okay. Chris Park just back in the Abyss gear. That was a nice little nod to TNA. The crowd is up for Punk. We then have a Balor pre-tape, and he's got to prove it to himself. And basically, Punk mentions what the Creed song from Scream 3 has anything to do with this. I don't know. What if Balor didn't ruin the match that he was going to have against AJ Styles? What if Roman Reigns showed up? Well, you can boo Roman Reigns, but I'm here. Boots on the ground, looking like a fool with your boots on the ground. And how white did I sound? Let me know in the comments. And, yeah, he basically just is trying to fire up and really build up this thing where Balor's got no chance of winning, but whatever. And there you are. So, Mania in Vegas plug. Yeah, you can mortgage your house and go to Mania. Or you could just sit at home. I'm sorry, but if TKO wants to keep charging these prices, yes, Mania ticket prices were always expensive, but come on. All right, Edward, James Olmos, Petey Williams, and Jeremy Borash were backstage. Then Io, Kyrie, and Raquel had a Chamber qualifying match. Did I mention Jay was in the Chamber? Yeah, I did. Okay, See, that's how this crowd also did not help. This crowd was almost putting me to sleep. So, Raquel is improved, but I will never find her interesting. Sorry, I just don't. If you do, great. There was a moonsault by Io for a break, dives everywhere. A moonsault for 2. Io got pushed off. Kyrie went for the elbow. Raquel got her knees up. Hit the bomb. 1, 2, 3. There you go. That's all I got to say about that. Put this lumbering oaf in the Chamber. I mean, and so look, some tall people just can't move that fast. And I'm not saying she needs to move like a cruiserweight. There's slowing down, and then there's going glacial, and that's what she was. Here comes Bronson, bicep tear, as I mentioned. Best wishes to Bronson in his recovery. Package on AJ Styles, set to hire by Creed. They were selling the fuck out of this. Now there are rumors and innuendo and innuendo that maybe AJ's contract is up, and maybe he will go to AEW for one final year. I don't think it's going to happen now. B, I thought the chances were slim anyways, because he probably wanted to spend more time with his family, and he doesn't want to wrestle past 50, and he's almost 49. He's going to be 49 this year, I believe. So there you go. They put a lot into that package. Interview clips and deep cuts and everything. He's gone from the late days of WCW to TNA to New Japan, Ring of Honor, all that. WWE. He's accomplished a lot more in WWE than I thought he would be allowed to, so that's good. And here's the man of the hour. He's fired up. He's emotional. I'm not going to get into a long dissertation about what he said. Thank you, AJ Chance. He's grateful. He thanks his family, his wife Wendy, who based on the camera shots is about 4'6". He grew up in Gainesville and, was able to do good stuff and raise a family. Likely better than the other family that was raised in Fayetteville, about 79 miles north and west. East, whatever. Screwed up my own bit. But he thanks his wife. He has mentioned that he's missed a lot of stuff, but he's coming home. Oh, he's coming home. Hey, family, he's coming home. And the gloves have come off for good. He leaves them with his vest. Thank you, AJ chants. Roster's on the stage. And then suddenly here's Taker on his trikey set to the Kid Rock song. Remember Kid Rock, who likes to promote the fact that, oh, he's part of the party that, wants to stand up for might and right and everything. And, let's dissect some of his music and realize there's probably, a reason why he supports a criminal piece of shit. And by the way, he's a wannabe redneck. He's a fucking phony. And it should have been him along with Joe C. Then we wouldn't have had to have dealt with this. So that being said, Taker says to him, you're just going to take your stuff and leave. We have unfinished business. And he kind of dances around with it because Undertaker's as much of a glory hound as Triple H, by the way. For a guy that maintained so much kayfabe for so goddamn long, now he's even more of a hypocrite than Triple H. But he says, AJ, you're in the Hall of Fame. Celebrates with the family, and there you are. So you know what? Good. Good on AJ. He's going to go in the Hall of Fame. He should be the headliner. Not Stephanie, because Stephanie doesn't fucking deserve it. It should be AJ. AJ should be in the Hall of Fame. I'd like to see Batista inducted in the Hall of Fame. I just don't think we're going to get to that at any point. And Batista could be like the co-headliner. But whatever. AJ deserved, entry in the Hall of Fame. And you know what? If after that, if he wants to take a year, get a shit pot full of money from, from Richie Rich, then I don't blame him. But I really think that AJ may be retired. And you know what? Honestly, what else can he do? Besides go to AEW and maybe get, an AEW World Championship run. So he'd be NWA, TNA, be a WWE and AEW champion. Yes, he won other titles in New Japan, but the whole point is he'd have a lot of championships on his plate, and he'd be able to say that, but I don't think he's going there. Never say never, but I don't think he's going there. Not with this send-off. And plus, again, he's going to be near 50, and he wants to just relax. Don't do it. Wait, you want to go through it. Relax, don't do it. If you want to go, AJ, you're going to go to Vegas and be inducted in the Hall of Fame. So yeah, that's probably my last WWE review until, if anything in March sounds appealing, maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. I got other stuff to do, guys. I'm winding down my wrestling coverage. I'm winding down my coverage in general. Because this show, I only went long talking about this show because I hadn't done a Raw review in a while. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rentlund. Until I revisit the WWE land once again, happy trails to you.